Now, earlier this month, Peter Dutton announced that a coalition government would order all public servants to return to the office 5 days a week. He said that current work-from-home arrangements had led to unsustainable reduced productivity. And good on him. We're paying the bill, so surely we can dictate the terms. He who pays the piper calls the tune. Well, Labor's now saying that being forced back to the office would leave workers close to $5,000 a year worse off through travel time and parking costs. And Minister for Women Katie Gallagher also claimed that ending working from home would disadvantage working women. Bugger you if you're a stay-at-home dad or a dad who does most of the work, I suppose. But let's not forget it was also Labor New South Wales Premier Chris Minns who ordered state government workers back to the office more than 6 months ago, so Labor can't quite get their story straight on this one. But Amanda, what if you're a tradie? You don't have a choice about whether you go to the office, which is a work site, or not. I don't have a choice about whether I go to the office. I have to be here in order to do my job.
The nation needs you to be here.
If they didn't, the nation does need me. They tell me that in my emails every night about how much they hate watching my program. Or if you're a checkout chick, you don't get sorry, I should say checkout they, them, because I don't want to offend the gender people. But, you don't have a choice about whether you go to work. So is what Labor is suggesting here actually that those people ought to be paid more because they're spending more of their income going to work, which, the high and mighty public servants don't have to do?
Look, it's a tit for tat with Labor and Liberal over this work from home with the public servants. And the $5,000 are calculated based on parking costs. And the government is literally telling everyone that you must catch public transport and they're getting rid of all the parking stations. So I'm not sure why they're calculating parking costs, because they don't want people to actually use cars. Tradies, yes, they actually have to go on site. That's if the unions haven't shut down the actual site for the day. So they lose a lot of money with that. So I think Labor should be focusing on that and allowing small businesses to thrive on building sites than worrying about the fact of work from home. I will say this, work from home, people go too extreme. They're either saying, like Coalition saying 5 days in the office is absolutely ridiculous, but then Labor saying do what you want, live in any state and we'll fly you in for a meeting is also ridiculous. We need to focus on flexible working on a case-by-case basis. Some people might want to start early, finish early because they've got an arrangement at home for pick up and drop off. Whatever it is, have it on a case-by-case, which small businesses do very, very well. And Labor legislated that out of small business with things like right to disconnect. So we need to bring back flexibility, have it on a case-by-case basis and not demonise the people that do it, but then look at the productivity of the person. Just doing this whole mass come in or mass working from home is not working.
Well, my argument, Evelyn, has always been that it should be between you and your employer. If it's written into your contract that you are allowed to work from home, that is something that you and your employer have agreed to. But what we've had, of course, is, and I can't believe we're still talking about it, but people who during COVID were sent to work from home because they were told they had to do it, and then after that they just didn't want to go back to what was happening previously. Well, if it wasn't in your contract that those were the terms you agreed to, surely the employer, who was only doing what the government forced them to do at the time, though in this case the government is the employer, can say to you, well, now you've got to come back to the office unless we redraw your contract and allow you to do it.
Yeah, I completely agree. It should be between the employee and the employer as to the terms. And like you said, if there's a contract and these terms, if you have a good relationship with your employer, perhaps, things can be negotiated. That's just being an adult, like being able to have these things. I guess the difference for me with this is the fact that one thing government employees tend to do, or excel really well in, is wasting our money. So for me, I'm like, if this is a form of waste and it's our money that they're wasting, and this is a necessity to negate the waste, then sorry, you're employed by us. Like, you literally are employed by us, so you can go back to work and productivity can go up, and maybe perhaps our country won't continue to plummet down into despair. That being said, I also agree with you, Amanda. I think that certain people thrive in certain working conditions, and in small businesses particularly. I think that we need to do what we can for, small businesses to thrive. Like you said, there's too much red tape. There are too many hoops that people have to jump through. I feel like the way that our system in our country is sort of on a foundational level structured is to reward bad behaviour. And unfortunately, when you do that, you get more of it. So I think that there is slight nuance with this, except for the fact that this is a public thing, and because of that, I'm kind of like, well, I'm your boss, like you're their boss, like you at home, like we employ these people, and if they're not doing their job and this is going to fix that, tough luck.
I don't know whether it exists at a federal level, but there's a thing certainly at a state level, at least in South Australia, where there are public servants that for some reason they can't get rid of them. And so they are in what is called a waiting room on full pay, waiting for another job in the public service. It's amazing, isn't it?